Here you go. Careful. Tea's still hot. I put the honey in it like you like. The storm's gonna be here for a little while longer, but it'll clear up soon. Makes me think that first few nights you were here, you remember? That first night. How terrified I was of the thunder and how you held my hand. Even though you were tied up. You're very kind, considering you were a captive. I still don't know quite how you found the generosity of spirit to do that, but I'm grateful for it. It's been a while now. It still feels like it's been, simultaneously no time at all and also like forever. I mean, like we've had all of this time, a whole lifetime in this little bubble of ours, just you and me and the forest. I suppose it's only natural, like we've spent so much time together. Most couples never get the not that we're a couple. I mean, you know what I mean. Most people never spend as much time together as we have in such a short period, and it just feels like we've gotten really close. Gotten to know each other really well. I went into town today while you were napping. I picked up a few things. Some of that coffee that you like, and more books. Well, always more books. The library was having a book sale, which seems a little counterintuitive, but also I got this. You should read it, the local paper, front page. Take a look. Yeah, that's her. The woman from the coffee shop. The one I quote unquote saved you from. She was very impressive, in a very negative kind of way. She was arrested for stalking, attempted kidnapping. She hurt some people. Three men in the last 6 months. You'll notice that from the pictures, they all kind of look like you. I guess she had a type. Same hair color, skin tone, same build. She had chloroform in her car and restraints in her apartment, and like all these journals with details about her targets. I promise you, the irony is not lost on me. That okay, I was right about her being dangerous. That my paranoia and my delusion turned out to be actually, accurate and but it doesn't change what I did. It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't justify anything. Like, two wrongs don't make a right type of thing. No, I didn't. How could I? I was just being jealous. I was just being possessive as someone who wasn't even mine to possess. I just saw how beautiful she was and how easily she made you laugh and how normal she seemed compared to me. I keep thinking about what would have happened if I hadn't, if I hadn't taken you that night. If I'd just gone home and written in my journals and let out my obsession there, and would you have left with her eventually? Would you be one of the ones in the paper today? Would you be another one of her victims? Fate? Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think I believe in that. It sounds a little bit too much like It sounds a little too much like lacking accountability. Like absolution, like I was meant to kidnap you in order to save that. The universe doesn't sanction crimes like that, The rain's getting worse. The road's going to be washed out again by morning. You know what this means, right? You know why I showed you this, don't you? No, I showed you to let you know that you're free to go. You can go. You can just go. You're completely free, and I'm not going to stop you. The danger that I thought was there may have been real, but that doesn't mean that my motives were pure. It doesn't mean it was okay. And now that she's now that you're really truly safe. Even I couldn't manufacture some justification for keeping you here. Even in my, admittedly twisted reasoning. I packed your things. Everything you came with. Threw in some books that you were in the middle of. I added some supplies for the journey back to town. The road is still passable, for now. I can drive you. Or you can take the truck yourself. The keys are on the hook. You know that. Well, I suppose now is as good a time as any. Let's face it, I've been letting my guard down for weeks and leaving the cage door open for longer and longer, haven't I? Giving you more and more freedom. Sort of testing us both. But I still always had that excuse in the back of my mind, that you weren't safe out there. So as long as I could tell myself that I was protecting you, I could justify keeping you here, or not encouraging you to go, not sending you away, not just completely unlocking. But now that excuse is gone, and I can't pretend that I'm doing anything good here anymore. Why aren't you going, like, fast before the roads get bad? Well, yeah, I know they're bad, but they're still passable for now. I checked, and the forecast said that the storm's going to be clear soon enough, but you don't have to worry about my feelings, right? You don't have to worry about letting me down gently. I know what I did. I'm going to have to live with that. Okay, what do you mean it's not that simple anymore? These weeks together, they've meant something to you too, haven't they? I've thought about that too. Like, wondered about who we might have been to each other if we could have, if we could somehow have started over from the beginning, from a place that isn't tainted by what I did. It might have been nice. But that, yeah, might as well wish for anything impossible. I mean, how could you ever look at me and not see the person who took your freedom? The person who locked you up. How can I ever look at myself and not see a monster? You think you need time? What, to process it? Do you mean like? Do you mean like away from here, like away from me? That's fair. I mean, that's more than fair. Look, the storm's getting worse, and you should. I mean, you could wait till morning. See how the roads are then. Yeah, you're right. Mountain roads get treacherous in weather like this. Just because it seems like it's okay now doesn't mean it couldn't come up on you quick. Yeah, okay, sure. One more night then. One more night together in this bizarre little situation that we've got going on here. One more night before we go back to reality. Maybe we can add another log to the fire and keep it going through the night. It gets a little cold in here when the fire dies. Have you noticed? You remember the first time we sat by the fireplace? You watched me all night like I might hurt you at any moment. I kept trying to prove that I wouldn't. We were such strangers then. Just captor and captive. Practically enemies. Well, actually, I was an enemy as far as you were concerned. Wasn't I? I suppose I was. And now we're... Actually, I don't know what we are now. It isn't exactly a word for whatever this is. I mean, maybe Stockholm Syndrome. If you leave tomorrow, when you leave tomorrow, I want you to know something. These weeks with you have been... They've been the first time in my life that I've ever felt not completely alone. And that was a gift that I never expected, and I certainly didn't deserve. So, before you go, could I maybe hold you tonight? Whatever you decide in the morning. Just thank you for everything. For this. For seeing a person instead of just a monster. And for treating me like I am. For treating me like I'm more than my worst moment and my worst action. Oh, honestly, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I've tried not to think about when you leave, so I don't really know what I'll do. Maybe I'll go, find my roots, Did I ever tell you about where I was born? My mother used to tell me stories before she got sick about this hidden valley deep in an uncharted land where it was all women. Women like me. And her. All tall, all strong. A whole tribe of warrior women. She used to tell me I was going to be a warrior. She used to teach me. She said that that was why I was always so much taller than the other kids. Why I never quite fit in. She talked about my warrior blood. Apparently my father was just a visitor to where she lived. And that I was meant to return one day for proper training. It was probably just some childish fantasy. Her way of making me feel like I was special instead of just some freakishly tall girl. But sometimes I do wonder if there was some truth to that, because, It felt true, if that makes any sense. I do remember, really vaguely, just a place where I was around a lot of women. I don't remember any men. And it was beautiful. They were strong and caring and fierce, all at the same time. But I don't know if it's a memory or if it's just something I imagined because of what my mother used to tell me. She did leave me some clues. And my grandfather, he said a few things about my grandmother that also made me think that it was true. Maybe I'll take another look at all their old books and journals and see what I can find. Maybe I could go back there. I mean, I missed out on my warrior training, obviously, but, you know, I may be too old for that, but they've got to need, cooks, right? Or secretaries, somebody to keep records or make meals. I've got a pretty good recipe for ramen now, right? And also there wouldn't be any men for me to obsess over. No one for me to go crazy over, nobody to become obsessed with, no one to kidnap, just a bunch of women who understand what it's like to be a little too extra for the regular world, I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, right? But we all need our little escapist fantasies, don't we? Even kidnappers with Stockholm Syndrome in reverse. Lima Syndrome is what it's called. Lima Syndrome. When captors fall in love with their captives. But realistically, I'd probably just stay here in my cabin and try to make peace with myself and with what I did. With whatever comes next. When you go, I won't follow you, I promise. That part of me, that obsessive, possessive part, I'm trying really hard to put to rest. I'm trying to be somebody who is worthy of the kind of kindness that you showed me. Okay, it's getting late. We should probably sleep. You've got some big decisions to make in the morning. I made up the guest room. Seemed like it's more comfortable than the basement, and I thought you would rather sleep there. To have some space to think, be comfortable. My room. Yeah, I mean, I'd like that. I'd like one. I'd like one more night of not being alone with my thoughts and my fears and my insecurities. Okay, well, sure. You know what? I will follow you in. I'm just gonna make sure that everything is secure from the storm. You can go ahead. Um, hey, Cupcake. I, I. Never mind. You know, it's nothing. We can talk in the morning. You sleep well. And please still be here when I wake up. Just one more morning before I have to learn how to let you go. Cupcakes, hello. I hope you enjoyed that story. I wanted to leave it a little open-ended so that you could decide for yourself how that goes. Because you know what, that character was a little bit unsympathetic, in my opinion, or not that she was not sympathetic. She was difficult to sympathize with, in my opinion, when I first drafted her, and I needed to make her at least plausible. Like you had to be able to feel at least some kind of empathy for her, and so I roll out the big guns with, "Oh, she's an orphan" in the very beginning, and so I I went a little bit over dramatic with that story in order to make her somewhat sympathetic, to counteract what an awful thing she was doing. Um, but also, in real life, if somebody does something awful, no matter how sympathetic their backstory is, we can empathize with them, but that doesn't mean we forgive them, right? Or you can even forgive them, but that doesn't mean you tolerate. You can have empathy and boundaries at the same time. It's entirely possible. And in fiction and in your head is a great way to practice having empathy and boundaries at the same time. Or you could join my Patreon and get the spicy version of what's coming up for those two if a scenario where the listener stuck around, because there's that route as well. uh, but let's see, I had so much fun. Thank you all to those who I did not announce but were at the Spicecast. There's a podcast that we're going to be doing. Me, Method, Method Switch, Xena Alexandra, Lacey Audea, occasionally Starlit Audio when she's available, Clover when she's available. We just hang out and we chat and we be ourselves, and you get a little bit of lore about us. We get some lore about about Method and her going on cruise ships and ending up in the back images of somebody's travelogue show, and lore about me and how, speaking of being an orphan, how being an orphan got me a second shot to take my driver's test. Which was funny because I was not an orphan, that I'd long been adopted by that point. And let's see, yeah, just all kinds of fun stories. We got high school stories about me skipping class, and about Method skipping class, and about Lacey being a good girl but still skipping class. And it was just a whole lot of fun. We spent like 3 hours just hanging out, and we're going to be doing that about once a month. We came up with not we, credit where it's due. Method came up with the idea because every Wednesday we get together and we talk about what works for our channels, what doesn't. We compare notes, we talk about, we help each other out. And we spitball ideas. And that's why sometimes if you'll notice a change on one person's channel, you'll see the same change or a similar change on a few of our channels, because we're figuring out what works for us and what doesn't, and we're coming up with ideas together. So we do tend to go through our business. We have our meetings. We go through our business, what our goals are, and what goals we've achieved, and we do kind of help each other remain accountable. We do a little problem solving for each other, and then we hang out and we shoot the shit, and we come up with some. We have a lot of fun. We chat, we get silly, we have a lot of fun. And Method realized that would make great content, and she was absolutely right. I'm going to link to the video because Method and Lacey both streamed it together. So I will link to those in my description down below. And in the meantime, I will wrap things up here by saying thank you to my patrons, of course. My newest patrons, Austin Nelson and Steel Thunder. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for your support. It means the world to me. And of course, all my usual suspects. There's Pack 3424 and Deanster and Charles Tribble Wheaton and Loot Curator and Gunner's Mage and Ara Ara Mushan Ara Ara. I can't do that. I can kind of roll my R's, but also the Japanese, I can't. It doesn't work for me. Not good at it. There's also William Gungrave, Nosti, Barry Wilburn, Estede, Esily, Photo, Harper Evolution, Wolf9004, Malice Silo, Lou, Bunny, Meryl, Mr. Rickles, Uwu, Anand, Darth Mythos, Red Death 48, Always Able, Old Bean UK, Kalua Bear, The Swaggy Llama, Artlow, Pierce Tailish, and Christian Cleopatra. And thank you all so very much for your support. It means so much to me, and it helps me to be able to do this all the 5 days a week. So thank you. And I hope you will all be as good to yourselves as you are to me. This should be coming out on Saturday. So take a look over on my Whispery History channel, where I'm going to be talking a little bit about what a dick Andrew Jackson was. See you over there. Take care. Be as good to yourselves as you are to me, and I will talk to you later.